Hello everyone and welcome to day 10 of 12 of Thriftmas. I have made it to day 10 before realizing I should probably put that phrase in the videos. But the first item we are finding in this video is a pair of Spring Step L'Artiste shoes. I originally thought these were historical reproduction shoes, but no, they're just really cool L'Artiste Spring Step shoes. And then I found another pair of shoes that I think I'm the only reseller that really picks these up or talks about them or know they exist, and I will talk about that more in the haul. But I always go to the shoes first in the store. The store we are at for this video is the Goodwill in Newport News, Virginia by the airport. And you know, this store is feast or famine. I have been able to find that giant record haul that I found one day where I found a bunch of 70s and 80s heavy metal, which was amazing, and I'm still super grateful for that. I've also found Patagonia butter sweaters here. I've found really great vintage at this store. So I had hoped by immediately finding two pairs of shoes that I was really excited to resell, because y'all know how much I do not like shoes, that maybe this was going to be an amazing thrift day. This pair of Coach shoes, while the bottoms were in great shape, they were torn up inside, so I had to put those back. This was just a pair of fast fashion shoes. I am always hoping that I will find some Dolls Kill shoes or some Demonias. Still haven't found those yet. That's a pair of ASOS shoes. This is a pair of vintage shoes that are a pair of needlepoint mules. Now, some of the styles of this vintage brand do actually resell well, but that was not one of them. So unfortunately, I left those behind. This is just the worst pair of knockoff Converse I've ever seen. Even tried to do the All-Star, but it says Yuzu Star. Just a really bad pair of knockoffs there, but you know, make do with what you have. This is me going back and looking again and seeing if I really want to just do it anyway. But I did put them back again because, as I mentioned, I'm not a real big fan of cleaning and reselling shoes. It has to be either in immaculate shape for me to pick them up, or something that's going to make me really good profit. This is just a Vera Bradley, but it's green, so of course I had to touch it. I don't know what this is. I feel like it's a baby carrier or a pet carrier. There's a whole grouping of holders now for needy cats and dogs that just want to be held all the time, you know, because it's not enough just put them in a baby carrier. No, they got to need their own special carrier. This is a pair of boots that I was just looking at, but they were too dirty for me to want to clean them. And it was a brand I was unfamiliar with. The men's section at this Goodwill, unfortunately, is always this tragic. There are very rarely any bottoms in this section at all. There's always a ton of t-shirts, but there's very rarely any pants or shorts. But like I said, I've had some really good luck finding shirts here, so we're going to see if I can find any today. Go through, so there's some chaps, lots of chaps. There's a Tahari piece. There's Saddle Breed. There's Morona. Cool 18, which I don't even know what that is. That's a Cuba Vera shirt. Dockers. Michael Brandon Hager. This is a vintage piece that I thought about for way too long. That's a Club something. Hagar. All these are brands that I see all the time. But unfortunately, while they may be, perfectly serviceable shirts, they don't resell well, especially if I'm paying $5.25 a shirt. That's an Orvis sweater that was just horribly shrunk and also had holes in it. But yeah, it's really quickly, I'm able to go through pretty much the entire men's section just because there's so little of it here. This is actually a Japanese release for Nike that I considered getting, but because this was a size small, which means because it is a Japanese size small, it's going to be even smaller for Americans, I decided to just go ahead and leave that behind. Sizing is different between European sizing and American sizing and Japanese sizing. You did not know that? Now you do. There is some St. John's Bay, PJ Golf, again, Cuba Vera, some Nautica, and that was a Disney piece. This is the Lion King. It is a jersey. I thought about it, but it is horribly stained and had multiple pulls in it. But, you know, I had to consider it because Hakuna Matata. I was hoping that was a 90s piece, but it's not. It's just a, I don't know, supposed to be humorous dad shirt maybe. So I'm going to go around here because there is a couple that is taking up the other side of that rack. And I don't fight crowds. I don't fight for space. I'm just like, whatever. So I'm going to go over here and look at the hard goods and see if there's anything I can see over here. I always check out the hard goods in the store. I have found great stuff as far as hard goods here. I see this igloo cooler. It's a drink cooler that says Kentucky Fried Chicken on it. But they wanted, I think, $7 for that. So I left that behind. It's like $5 or $6. I don't know. But it was too much for me to pick it up just to be amused by it. There's nothing over there in the tumblers. Again, I'm looking for vintage, like mid-century pots. I'm looking for Pyrex. I'm looking for reviewware. I'm looking for whatever that neat little tin thing was. I'm looking for cast iron. I'm looking for these ladies to move out of my way. And then we're going to go over to one of my favorite sections, which is the books. I've noticed recently that the outlet, the bins in my area, has not been having books lately. And I just don't think they've been getting a lot of donations for books, because I think a lot of the people have realized that Second and Charles exists. And so they're taking their books to Second and Charles to get for credit to get new books, which is great. I love that. I love books going back into the cycle of new homes and more people reading the stories, but that does mean that there's less cool stuff for me to find at the thrift store, which makes me sad because I love buying and reselling books. This is how long I normally stand in front of a rack. I'm actually like scanning top to bottom and going through each rack. People have asked, like, how do you know what books are worth reselling? I have been a reader my whole life, so I am looking for books that I know, authors that I know, books that I have seen people on BookTube talk about, because I do have a book channel as well. I couldn't remember if I had this edition of this book. I have a movie printing, a mass market printing from the movies, but I don't remember if it's that exact book. I still don't remember because I haven't gone to look at it yet, because I am in crunch time for Thriftmas and haven't bothered to check. I got the ricketiest cart I could have gotten. So I'm going back over to the hard goods, but, you know, avoiding other people. And here I am looking at mugs. Another thing I absolutely love. So if you get 2 mugs, they're $1.99. If you get 3 to 4 mugs, they're $2.99. I don't know how they're doing this. They've changed that significantly since last time. This is a Starbucks mug. It is regular price, which normally they mark up Starbucks mugs at this location, but I guess they realize that Starbucks mugs aren't moving for them either, so they haven't marked them up. This lady is not allowing me to pass, so I'm just seeing if she moves or notices anybody is around her. She doesn't, so here's the Seattle's Best mug. And there's another Starbucks mug, but it's missing the top. And I'm going to go over here and look at the clear glass. Sorry if I made anybody motion sick. Just to see if there's anything that stands out as crystal or an interesting shape or an interesting color. I don't see anything, and she has moved, so I can move. And I go over here and look, and I love it when they put these shelves and there's a big beam in the middle that you can't actually get a cart through. So I'm just like, you know what? That aisle never has anything. I'm good. I'm going to just go back to the shirt section over here now that this couple has moved, so I can see if I can find anything to resell besides this 2 pairs of shoes that I picked up earlier. Got Old Navy and Puma and Hawk, which is Tony Hawk brand, Tommy, some Izod. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. This is a Vans shirt, but it wasn't half off. If it was half off, I would have picked it up. Got H&M and Hagar and Pierre Cardin and Time and True. You know, all the classics. Guess this is an Oakley shirt, but if it was older, I probably would have picked that up. Rock and Republic. This is a Reebok piece from 2008. If it was 2003, it's technically vintage. I might have been tempted to pick it up at full price then. What brand sells Cool 18? Like, that's got to be a department store, right? Okay, this is me needing to make space because this one rack is too crowded. This is a North Face shirt. I'm not going to pay $5.25 for that. I would totally pick it up at the bins, but I would not pick it up here for full price because I can normally sell those A5 shirts for $10, $15. Oops, sorry, got a little bit too close to the camera there. It's got Hagar again, mutual weave. It sounds fancy, but it's not. I think it's one of those subscription boxes. Now, this is a vintage Hawaiian shirt. The brand is Howie. It is made in the USA. I actually put that back, and that is because the sell-through rate for that particular brand is not very good. It's also cotton, not silk, and it's not the season. This is me thinking really long and hard if I want to go over to the t-shirt section and look through all the t-shirts to get a second shirt to get the Narada shirt. But I'm like, I already have enough nerdy shirts that I already have in my death pile from Thriftmas. I will let this one find a new home on its own. So we got Izod and a whole bunch of stuff that you don't get to see because I've decided not to show you for some reason. All right, we're going to go over here to the other side where there's jackets. Again, I always am hopeful. Jackets here are $9.25 unless they mark them up. This is a vintage piece. I was checking it over. This I would probably get like $20, $25 for because it's an unknown brand. I would have to do like it's color blocking pullover, quarter zip, dad shirt or whatever. And someone might have picked that up, but I would have sat on it. So I was like, again, I have so much at home from Thriftmas. Thriftmas has been very good to me this year. I was like, I can let that stay here for a while. I mean, I can always come back, in 3 weeks and hopefully get it half off if it's still here. But I feel like someone will scoop that up before then. Again, I've noticed in the last 6 months that this thrift store in particular, they do not try to sort things out by gender anymore. Like, they kind of do it, but not really. Like, you'll see just women's piece after women's piece in the men's section and vice versa. So I don't know if there's just like people shopping and they're like hiding stuff to come back for later, or if it's truly like they're just like, it's a long sleeve shirt. This is fine. Speaking of, I am now in the long sleeve men's shirt section, or supposedly the long sleeve men's shirt section. I immediately stopped to check this shirt out first before going to the beginning of the rack and thoroughly looking through, because I was hoping that was a vintage shirt, but it's not. It is a modern piece. So I'm leaving that behind because the actual brand isn't that good. It had horses on it and it was a Western pearl snap, but it was not a good brand and it was a modern piece. So it didn't have enough things going for it to where I felt that picking it up for $6.25 would have been a good idea. Again, like some of the stuff that you see me rifling through and passing on, I would actually pick up at the bins, but not at the prices here. Like this is a vintage vest. You guys know how much I love my vintage knitwear, but that had severe pilling. Like that thing was more pills than sweater at this point, so that got left behind. I mean, I could spend, an hour sweater shaving it and rehab it, but no. This is a long sleeve t-shirt. And unfortunately, the long sleeve t-shirts are the long sleeve shirt price, so they would have been $6.25. And Harley shirts don't sell for very much, and they take a long time sometimes. And this one was not blinged out, so I left that behind. If that was at the bins, 100% would have picked that up. Wrangler and Land's End. That was just a heavier duty Wrangler shirt. This thing looked cool, but it was a fast fashion piece, and you can tell from the seaming there that it was a fast fashion piece. But it was a cool like patchwork piece. This is the first clothing pickup. It is a vintage pearl snap, Eli Plains. You can see through it. That's how well worn and vintage this shirt is. It's probably from like the late 80s, early 90s, based on the cut, on the colorway. Ah, man, I'm still kind of thinking about this shirt, honestly. So this is a vintage brand, R&R Jean Co. This is a vintage button-down. It was a flannel with a corduroy collar. And if that had been any color than brown, I would not have had a second thought about it. Like if it was blue or green or more vibrant color than brown, I probably would have just immediately put it in my cart. But I'm just like, again, I have a lot of stuff already. Someone else can have that. So now we're going to go and peruse the pants. Normally for the pants, when they're this packed, I'm feeling for material and or I'm looking for something interesting. I could not find any of those. The jeans, again, sad pairs of jeans. There's just not enough here. There's not a whole lot going on with the jeans section. They're normally very shopped through. I mean, even at $9.25 a pair, it's very sparse over here. This is me checking to see if these 505s are vintage. But they have been cut out, and based on the location of the tag, that means that they are modern. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this back on the hanger and swipe you guys in the meantime and hang this back up. And that is a women's pair of jeans. These are the high-rise skinnies. So I left those behind. I'm just double checking to see if there's any other Levi's labels that I'm missing, or I always just like peruse the back labels and see if there's anything that I haven't seen before, or if there's something I think I need to double check. I'll also check the quality of denim as well, just to see what's going on. And then I'm going to go back over to the shirts section here. I try to do this in a methodical way as long as no one's blocking the aisle. So US Polo Association, that's a Yankees shirt. That's Goodfellow, which is Target. Nike, Russell. Again, all the basic hits that you see all the time that you guys can't see now because I've decided to just lean a little bit too hard into this rack. Chaps, Swiss Check, 7th Avenue. This is another like interesting flannel piece that had a corduroy collar, but it was a brand I didn't recognize, and also wasn't in that good of condition. The flannel was too heavily pilled on that piece. So there's ECU. I think it's Eastern College University. I don't know. No. East Coast University? Who knows? I don't know. Just making stuff up at this point. That's another vintage piece. That's the Territory Ahead. I also thought about picking that one up, but not for $6.25 if all of these are half off. This is a skate brand, Scully. Those shirts were only reselling for around $15, so I left that behind. And hopefully we're going to get to the end of this rack real quick. A New Day, Adidas. We have Calvin Klein, Aeropostale. Yeah, more Aeropostale. Some military pieces. Stafford. Verona. Towncraft. American Eagle. Joseph Abode. Izod. And we're done with that rack. So now we're going to keep pushing. And this is like loungewear pants, but they had some hoodies and fleece over here, so I just wanted to double check that I wasn't missing anything. This is supposed to be like the comfy clothes section. And you know, sometimes those can be good. I saw this pair of plaid blue pants, and for a second I got a flashback to a pair of pants that I have. I will probably never be able to fit into them again, but I'm going to keep them for nostalgia reasons. And that's me picking up what I dropped on the floor. But those are just loungewear, sweatpants and stuff, and I honestly just didn't feel like looking through them. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm tired. I'm real tired. And especially when I think about all of the stuff that I still have to list at home, it's just making me a little bit more picky as I'm sourcing, which is probably just a good way to be. In general, if you have a substantial death pile, as you know, still keep sourcing because you never know when lightning's going to strike, but just become a little bit pickier with what you're willing to bring home to add to that pile. because that's what's going to happen with this. It's just going to add to the pile. Let me just say, New Year, New Me is going to be just me reclaiming my house and actually killing my death pile. That is going to be the main focus of 2024 for me. Spoiler alert is to kill the death pile. So now moving over to the other side of the jeans section over here. And again, I'm looking for Silver Tab. I'm looking for Levi's, because those are normally denim that I find that I know I can resell for a good price. Vintage, of course, I'm always looking out for, and it's always a treat when I find it. But I think we're going to get through the end of this rack, and I'm just going to have to give you to Haul Bob now, and she's going to go over what I did actually manage to squeeze out of the store. And I will see you in just a moment. Hello and welcome to the haul, y'all. I didn't actually get very much out of this thrift store for two reasons. One, it wasn't giving me a whole lot to keep me engaged enough to try to like power through the whole store. And two, because I started feeling very poorly. I was like, I need to lay down. I need to be done. So I did not go through this whole store, full transparency, and I basically went home and took a nap because my body was in power down mode, and I need to listen to that so I don't end up in permanent power down mode. And by permanent, I mean like a week or two power down mode or going to the hospital. So I spent less than $75 at this thrift store, and I'm going to show you the first two things that gave me hope that maybe I was going to find a bunch of really cool stuff, and then it dried up pretty quickly. So I have talked about this brand multiple times. I firmly believe I am the only person that talks about this brand. It is Jacobsen. It has a very distinctive bottom. I can almost always spot these from a mile away. This is the first time finding a colorful style. I have found this in white and black. So this is my first time finding something that would have a whiter, well, I guess white and black is, you know, pretty classic versus this is going to be a different person. But these are my size, actually. These are size 39, which is roughly a size 9. An easy way for me to remember it is like a 36 is a 6, a 37 is a 7, a 38 is an 8, a 39 is a 9. And that pretty much rings true for the most part. So this is my size. I am going to check comps. I normally sell these for around $30 to $40. I'm not sure because this is tie-dyed if that means it is more or less. But these are in great shape, very minimal cleaning, and these almost always sell very quickly for me. And I also picked up these because I was like, oh my god, those are so freaking cute. I thought that maybe one of these were one of the historical reproduction brands, just because this is just so cute. These are so cute. They are a size 36, which means they're a size 6. And it's, they're brand new. They're new without box. They have nothing on them at all as far as like any wear. Like there's not even a dirt here. And it is Spring Step L'Artiste. This is the only Spring Step brand or line that I will pick up. All of them are like really cool like this, or they have really intricate designs. Some of them can go for a lot of money. Some of them can go for a little money. But I will clean these up because, oh no, that's why no one wanted them. Well, that's tragic. Oh no, wait, is that in or out? That is out. Okay, so it does have something I need to clean off. It looks like there's something on this, like a sticker or something. I don't know what that is. It's like a scuff and a sticker. I thought maybe it was like worn into the leather, but no, there's a sticker on top of the leather, so that makes me feel a lot better. I thought for a second I like made a boo-boo, but I will sell these just like new condition and not as new without box because it does have some scuffing on it. So there are those. And of course Miss Moxie is down here demanding I give her more food. She is not happy with the amount of food she has received today. But that's an everyday occurrence, isn't it, baby girl? You would totally be happy being 25 pounds and like rolling everywhere. Alright, so this is a brand I'm going to try. This is a UK brand. It is Rob. The reason why I'm going to try this is because I felt this and thought it was Lululemon. This feels amazing. And I was looking at listings, almost all of them are from the UK, and almost all the solds are from the UK, but they're selling for like 30 US, 30, 35 US. So we will see about that. My area has several military bases in the Hampton Roads areas, so I get to see different brands than just like the typical American ones, if that makes sense. Which is why I say those are my sourcing opportunities, is because I know like Scandinavian brands and Asian brands that I'm able to have a wider sourcing net. But this is very much me. I found another very cool vintage 80s. So if you see this like swoop shape here, that is a late 80s, early 90s sleeve. Really. Where it's got like that, where it looks like a belly, like, I don't know how else, like a whale belly. I don't know how to describe it, but green. This is also a size extra large. The brand is Salt Creek, but that doesn't really matter. It is an acrylic sweater, and it's extra large, but I'm not going, I do need to sweater shave this, but I'm not going to leave a funky, cool vintage sweater to languish in a thrift store. These are brand new, which was nice. This is a brand new pair of can-cans. These are a size 9/28, and these are the high waist, relaxed thigh, tapered leg mom jean. I bought these because they're brand new. Because, you know, and it is supposed to look like this. It's supposed to be distressed and paint splattered as such. That's what it's supposed to look like. So, I don't know. These are brand new. It's hard not to, you know, get a win with a pair of brand new can-cans. I also decided to pick these up because these were half off. And I've talked about before how I have a lot of luck with vintage black denim. And that's what this is. This is a pair of Lee's. You know, Lee is sold at Walmart. But this is a vintage pair of high-rise tapered leg mom jean. These are probably from also the late 80s. And, okay, yeah, it's not a hole. Awesome. So yeah, picked these up. These are tiny waist. Let's see. Tiny little waist. Actually, I don't have the first idea how big this waist is. Probably, I think it's a 28. It looked like it was a 14-inch across, which means it would be a 28-inch waist. But yeah, I will pick denim up that is not brand new if it is vintage and I know I can sell it for $30 to $40, or if it is half off. So this is only $4 and like 65 cents, which is much more reasonable in my opinion. This is a vintage Eli Plains pearl snap in a really funky stripy pattern. So that's a definite yes. And this is a project. So I actually have two projects that will help each other out. I have a pair of silver tab, light wash silver tab men's jeans that are abysmal. They have been many people. The wife of this individual tried very hard to keep this pair of pants in service, but it is past its expiration date. So what I'm going to do is actually cut the legs off and make them a pair of silver tab cutoffs, and then use that material to fix these anchor blues. I have never found anchor blues on the East Coast. I've only ever found it in California when I was thrifting with Courtney and Matt. It's a pair of light wash anchor blue, straight anchor blues. These are 36-32s, but it's in the light wash denim. The problem is that you can see here that they are side split. Someone cut the sides off, I guess because they wanted boot cut jeans, but didn't want to actually pay boot cut jean prices. And it has a lot of heel drag. So what my hope to do is to cannibalize the legs that I'm going to cut off of the silver tab jeans, repair these in an interesting way using visible mending on the sides, and then repair the silver tab shorts so that way they can be worn as shorts, because it actually has a hole here in the crotch. So I will also have to use I will try to use invisible mending there, but this is going to be a project. I mean, I could just cut these off and turn them into shorts, but I think it would be a pretty cool first project to do visible mending with those new patches that I picked up. This is actually something I'm just going to sell. This is a chore jacket. It's a lightweight canvas chore jacket from Levi's. And I picked this up because it's a black size large. It's got the little tie waist and the 4 pockets. So those are pretty steadily going for around $30. Happy for that. And then the last item I have to share with you is a vintage item. And the reason I picked this up is because I actually got one of these for free, a similar style jacket for free from my aunt and uncle when my uncle's father passed away. It is a popular style that was popular in the late 70s, early 80s, and it's the leather and knit jacket. So this is a jacket that is a sweater. So the sleeves are sweater, the back is sweater. It's got like a kind of a shawl style collar, but where the buttons are in the pockets is all leather. And this is a size large. And I'm going to make the mistake of put this on. Okay, good. It doesn't fit me well enough to where I'm going to keep it. But it's a men's size large. Very cool. Very 70s. I really like this. This is really neat. Oh, am I going to reach into 2 pockets and not pull out tissues? That's amazing. Men's large. Really cool piece. I couldn't believe no one had picked this up. And the last piece that I had, that I sold, had an issue with the knitwear, so I had to repair that. This one doesn't have any issues with the knitwear. The last one of these that I sold, that again I had to repair, I sold it on Etsy for $65. So that is why I picked this up, and I'm more than happy to pay, like, I think she charged me the sweater price for this, so she charged me $7.25. So I'm more than happy to wait for the right buyer for this, and I definitely know I can sell it because I literally sold another one of those earlier this year. But yeah, that is everything. Again, how much did I spend? How much did I spend? I spent $73. $73 exactly for all of that. And if I sell that one leather and knitwear vintage piece, I pretty much made my money back. If I sell the 2 pairs of shoes, I'll make my money back. Again, it wasn't giving me much, but what I was able to find was really good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and we got, what, 2 more stores left for Thriftmas? So I can't believe I've been able to do daily uploads for as long as I have. Hopefully, I'm gonna see if I can last the whole month. But if I don't, just know that I tried real hard, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye! Bye.
Hero, hero. Hero, hero. Hero, hero. I wanna be a hero, hero. Oh, the hero.